And welcome everyone to Overwatch World Cup, Group A of APAC here. My name's G Clef, and hey, Unknown.
Hey, how are you?
How are you
G-Clef?
doing? This is our second to our last day of Group A.
I know.
It's exciting, and some sad moments for some teams already, but there's still chances for a lot of other teams, and this is going to be, I think, a lot of decisions, a lot of conclusions might actually be happening today.
Yeah, so like you said, G-Clef, Group A is starting to form a little bit towards the results and the end. We have already two teams, Indonesia and Philippines, knocked out for the qualifications for the next stage of the tournament, while two teams, South Korea and Japan, already clinching those qualification spots for the next stage. We have two teams remaining for that remaining one spot, and maybe that third place spot might be decided today.
Yeah, there's a chance, and if, according to some conditions that Unknown's going to tell you later, of course, we might have to extend that to the last day, which is, of course, can be the most exciting day. Of course, there are a lot of exciting matches left still, and today's result might inflict that, might not actually. So depending on those results, we'll have, and we do have all 6 teams playing today and tomorrow, so packed action for Overwatch World Cup APAC region here. As some of the other regions, they're coming to a result. Of course, for our side, APAC Group A, we do have to mention that we do have a lot of teams that has a power differential. We do have, in fact, which was affecting them a lot. We have South Korea, Japan, Hong Kong, who seems to be the top 3 for now, but it's not secured. So I guess by the end of today, we will have that ready for you.
Yeah, so just kind of giving you a preview, Korea and Japan do look like the clear strongest teams in the group. While Hong Kong, they did look very, very strong in week 1. A little less so, a little bit more mortal towards week 2. However, they still look like they are going to be the favorites for that third place spot. However, Chinese Taipei is still surviving. Their fate is still undecided, and they have it in their hands because G-Clef, the last day of the qualifiers, they go against Hong Kong.
That's going to be the thing, as we have very important matches left in our final 2 days. But before we jump into the matches and the schedule that's left in the standings, just going back to our overview here, we have our top 3 teams. Our APAC Group A will be advancing into the group stage. So we're all the way here for week 1 and 2 to find those 3 teams who that's going to be at the end of tomorrow. And of course, we do have APAC-B, who's looking for the top 2 out of the 6. EMEC the same, MER same, and 1 team from China mainland will make it into that group stage. And of course, already revealed yesterday that the final stage is going to be at BlizzCon.
It's going to be extremely hype, and again, we've mentioned this yesterday, G-Clef, but it's going to be a refreshed motivation for the players that are also playing in this tournament, because a lot of these players have been growing up watching their favorite players play on BlizzCon, on LAN, and a lot of these players actually have been debuting in the online era, where a lot of the tournaments have went on online because of the pandemic.
Well, South Korea had a lot of those trophies, but the latest trophy, well, USA.
Yeah, again,
take it away from
this
them,
is notable. This is notable to mention that South Korea, as strong as they look right now, are not the defending champions of the tournament. They want a redemption arc. They want to get that trophy back.
100%.
So, like you said, USA is the current defending champions for the previous World Cup, which was the last World Cup was 2019, and South Korea is coming with vengeance to take that back.
And so far, undefeated. Few points away against Hong Kong only, but no other team seems to be close to South Korea, at least for the qualifiers. Maybe it'll be different on the group stage, but of course, they're basically guaranteed to go up, Japan and South Korea, with a 3-0 plus 6. And that big match is actually happening tomorrow, the final match of tomorrow, so make sure you guys don't miss that. But today's schedule, we'll be starting off, kicking things off with Indonesia versus South Korea. And the second match will be Chinese Taipei versus Philippines. And the third match, whoa, Japan versus Hong Kong. That could potentially be like a third place decider match, basically.
Exactly. So to give you a little bit of more, I guess, detailed insight here. So Korea and Japan are already qualified. Indonesia, Philippines already knocked out. So the undecided teams are Hong Kong and Taipei, and they both play today and tomorrow. So if Taipei if Chinese Taipei and Hong Kong both win today, then it goes to tomorrow's match. Chinese Taipei must win against Hong Kong for the chance for map differentials. Number 2, if Chinese Taipei lose and Hong Kong wins today, regardless of tomorrow's results, Hong Kong will qualify as the 3rd seed today. And third possibility is that if Chinese Taipei wins and Hong Kong loses today, winner of the Hong Kong versus Taipei qualifies regardless of map differentials.
Okay.
And last, if Chinese Taipei and Hong Kong both lose today, Chinese Taipei must win against Hong Kong tomorrow for the chance to go to go all the way to map differentials.
Yeah, thanks for bringing that down for us, because a lot of for Japan and South Korea, because they already have 3 wins, they're guaranteed. And it looks like right now for APAC Group A, it's about to fight for the 3rd place spot. So those are going to be all the stats for you guys that Unknown has prepared for us. But for our first match, Indonesia, they lost a lot of matches already, and they're up against the strongest opponent, the Mountain, the immovable object, whatever you want to call it. And Indonesia, honestly, they were having a lot of trouble in every single map. Even Speedy75, who thought was one of the better tracers in Group A here, was having a lot of trouble because the back line was just not supporting him at the moment. Was actually losing that tracer duel to
Hope.
Yeah, Hope, which was a big surprise. We thought it was going to be the other way, but now they have to fight against Lip and Sparkle.
Oh, let me correct myself. I think it was Snow and Hope. I think Hope and
yeah, they changed a little bit.
Yeah, they both played a little bit of Tracer, but like the point still stands. J-Clef, thank you for mentioning that out, because they are going against Lip and Sparkle. Yes, Lip and Sparkle have been kind of role swapping a little bit.
Why is that Genji on Sparkle? I thought Lip plays Genji now.
Well, okay, maybe they're a little late on the trend. However,
Okay.
like you said, G-Clef, they are role swapping and they're still winning. So it really is interesting to see how they will fare against the best talent of the Overwatch League in the form of Team Korea. And also what I want to mention out today is that Indonesia is having a little bit of a curveball, because GC is starting today instead of Zekrom. Zekrom was struggling a little bit on the past few matches in the qualifiers, getting a lot of isolated kills, and we've been talking about how those isolated kills led to Indonesia not being able to have even a full team fight, because they were losing members before they can even start the team fight.
Yeah, there were moments where Zekrom's Winston was not able to survive for too much of a time. Of course, the projector can save you for a few seconds, but once you're out of it, once your support's not supporting you, you're not going to win. And also, he was standing with Winston even if his entire team actually changed into some different comp. If Jungle Queen was available, or even a Diva, could have been an option, but it seemed like hero pool issue was almost also there. So we'll see if GC can actually turn things around a little bit, as they'll be going against Fearless. That's one good Winston that we know.
Well, if I may say, Fearless is one of the, if not the best Winston in the world currently so far. It will be an immense challenge to go against Fearless Winston here. I don't think Indonesia will be wanting to go to the mirror matchup here, because I don't see a way. I don't see a world where Indonesia will beat South Korea in the mirror matchup, and I think Indonesia knows that as well. They are definitely expecting the Winston pick from Fearless, because they are equipped with a anti-Winston composition here with the Jungle Queen and the Reaper from the start. So this means that, like, compositional wise, Winston should have a hard time.
Does make sense. It's totally from what you said, Unknown, but South Korea double flank. With the Winston double, you had to see the Fearless, how he spaces out the support line for Indonesia. They are going to be in trouble when those double flank comes from outside, but Speed actually taking out Lip first. Sombra down.
Oh,
the anti-nade is good,
multiple
but
members of South Korea falling first, so this is going to be an early point count for Indonesia.
I think South Korea thought it was okay to actually just challenge from the side, and Indonesia, they have positioned themselves around those pillars well enough so they can actually defend pretty well. So this is going to actually work. Indonesia prepared really well. And the first point going to Indonesia so far.
So we can see that South Korea clearly, of course, I think they would have anticipated a little bit of anti-Winston, but I don't think they expected Indonesia to execute this well. So they are making some swaps because they understand that the Winston composition is not going to work. So Fearless goes to the Doomfist and Lip to the Echo.
Instantly going for that. And with that anti, not actually grabbed the kill, but still pushing all the way. There's a rush from Indonesia, they're keeping it up.
Okay, but amongst this chaos, South Korea actually managed to flip the point. So if there's an extended fight here, it is going to be on the favor for South Korea. Ults used simultaneously on both sides, but South Korea getting those kills first, and it looks like it is going to be a reset for Indonesia.
With the Blossom. Again, your Lip just with the duplicate had that already. As Proxies tried to do the same. Well, there was the Sound Barrier and the Death Blossom at the same time from Indonesia. I think they expected a few more kills to be grabbed at that point. But South Korea, they were nowhere nearby. Like Doomfist, he can just run off easily. Tracer was off the side. Well, South Korea, they knew exactly what was happening.
Yeah, so now this turn is going to be really interesting because it's a question of whether South Korea can pull the aggression before the GC gets that Rampage online, and if Indonesia does able to survive the neutral fight until GC gets that Rampage, then it's going to be the question of whether South Korea, without those defensive abilities, will be able to survive that. But South Korea making the aggression first. However, Sparkle falls. Trade kills on the favor of South Korea. However, it looks like this fight is going toward the favor of South Korea. And GC, look, GC's Rampage got canceled. I think it must have been Chio's rally bash.
Or the bash and the stun coming through at the same time. Chio actually managed to pick up 2 kills. And it's not totally uncommon where Chio actually finishes up the opponent, actually grabbing the kill. But in this fashion, well, what we thought Indonesia actually GC changing back into Ram here.
Yep, so it looks like it's going to be a variation of the Ram Rush. And Indonesia, they know that they are a little bit down on ultimate, so they want to make the aggression first. However, South Korea making the appropriate responses here, and it is a full clean house for South Korea, and they secure round 1 for Nepal here.
Hey, known as against the Winston, the practice comp did work initially. Initially, it did work. One of the first teams actually winning the very first control fight against South Korea. I don't think it happened maybe once through the entire tournament.
Oh, there is that Rampage cancel from Chio. What? There's such good mechanics from the side of Chio. They knew this was coming and they were prepared for it.
Highlight of the first, for sure.
So, and coming back to kind of recapping on how Shrine went out, Indonesia had their idea. They knew that Fearless was going to start. They knew that they were Fearless' best hero is going to be the Winston. So they anticipated correctly that South Korea was going to play around the Winston comp, and they constructed a composition that entirely counters that composition. But credit to South Korea to understand that, hey, this composition, although we are the better team, is not going to work. And they made quick changes, and I think that was the turning point of the map there.
Yeah, immediately into Doomfist. And Chio here again with the wall ride, picking 5 more kills than he should, along with the DPS. He looks like a DPS to me for now, picking up 3 out of the 5.
Hey, you're a support if you can eliminate all the sources of damage from the opponent. That's how you support your team, because if you eliminate the sources of damage from the other side, your team will not... We'll get less damage. We'll just put it at that.
Yeah, which also means that your team's already pushing.
Preventive measures.
Oh, South Korea pushing Indonesia all the way out to the gates. Indonesia, GC actually has to do. And will they break the gates? But Sparkle Lips still in strong hands.
Fearless low in ante, but it looks like he will be able to get back up to full health. And in the meantime, Sparkle actually takes out Proxies. So Indonesia is having a hard time getting out of these 2 choke points here.
Yeah, left and right. So Indonesia, they're trying left and right, but they're everywhere. South Korea not really backing up. There's the anti from Shrimp, but no other damage source following up
They're
whatsoever.
coming all the way up front to their spawn of Indonesia. This gives me
happening again.
memories of yesterday's match, G-Clef. Remember Circuit
know.
Royale?
The circuit. Yeah, that did happen. The 007. Indonesia still coming around. Sparkle's on top. He knows that this is happening. Misses the pulse, but still good to go. There's Hanzo. Should be the prime
That's actually
target.
the duplicated Hanzo over there.
Yeah, it's
So
lit.
the Echo. Still picking up kills. The point charge is up to 75%. So even if Indonesia manages to win this fight, which they don't, it is still last fight territory for Indonesia when they contest. It is now going to be a question of whether Indonesia can contest or not.
50% off as still struggling to get out from the respawn. Now South Korea, they're barely moving. Okay, they're coming finally.
Oh, that early sound barrier for the aggression. Shrimp
96.
down. Fearless is on a rampage.
Yeah, at least GC I think is on the point for the flip, but no one else is available.
Maybe the flip happens because South Korea is busy killing people in the front, but no, they do contest and everybody is down. Indonesia do they have anyone else to touch? No, and that is an early map win for South Korea. What a game.
I just have to say, unknown as GC at least made it to the point, and then South Korea, after taking the other 4, immediately says, "No way, you're getting it flipped." We feel hurt from losing the very first point, few percent off in Indonesia. I think that's what they were saying on the second map, and said, "Okay, you're not getting a single percent off. We want that full 200%." It didn't happen. Well, I guess that's what it is. That's the first control.
Yeah, so it was a very, again, it was as expected. Korea was expected coming into this match going to be very dominant here, and they did deliver. No role swapping or no like having fun like a little bit of yesterday, but it's still like, I mean, it made it more impressive, more and more impressive because we saw a little bit of the Orisa from Fearless. I haven't seen a lot of first point of views, POVs from that Orisa, but we've seen a lot of kill feeds from the Orisa, so I just can't assume that it was really, really threatening. And also, Team Korea understands very clearly what they have to do, what hurts Indonesia most, and how to execute it. And Indonesia, to be honest, was not able to come to match the pace of South Korea.
Yeah, that's right. I think South Korea, because you can feel that Indonesia has brought a few team comps against the Winston especially. So that's where Fearless just goes, okay, I'm just going to play something off meta, and we can still come up with a win. We don't really have to focus as much on the real team competition. There's not much of a reason for now, and then they can still come up with a win like that with a weird composition that we don't really see in any league right now. So that's the level that South Korea is at, and we're talking map 2 here.
Yeah,
soon.
So I think well,
Escort?
it's really going to
it
be
time?
difficult to choose. I don't think Indonesia's going to do Escort because they don't want that 007. As you can see, this is 7 centimeters. This is 0.07 meters that we've seen Korea do yesterday. And we don't want this to happen again. I'm pretty sure Indonesia doesn't want this to happen again. So
That's 7 centimeters, guys.
I don't think that they'll go for Escort. I think it has to be a hybrid, G-Clef. I don't know which map it's going to be. I definitely think it's going to be a hybrid, though.
Literally, it'll be... I don't even know how they actually pushed 7 centimeters. Usually, it actually goes a little further. I'm guessing it was contested immediately after the push.
No, it was actually... So I watched the VOD of yesterday's match, and South Korea was actually a little bit too busy chasing kills.
Yes.
They neglected the payload for about like 0.5 seconds, and then there was that push.
Seconds. Okay.
Yeah,
Okay, makes sense. Makes sense, and that's how far, because had some questions, especially from the Americas, saying how far exactly is 7 centimeters? Yeah.
Yeah, they didn't put it in inches, so they needed. You guys,
inches.
Chat needed a little bit of visual evidence of how.
That's visual. That's 7 centimeters for you. If we go to Escort again, I mean, well, we were always saying it's really tough to pick a map, pick either mode against South Korea, as Indonesia is going to have a tough time. as we have seen from the control. But I think it's more about what you can get out of this team. Like, you don't get to face a team this strong in your career too many times. It's what you get out of the match. There are expected results. Maybe you can do better than that. It's what you get from. It's always a learning experience, even if you lose.
Of course. Right now, I think that Indonesia is improving game by game. Like today, like they had the right idea. It was just the execution a little bit that was lacking, and it's not even their fault because, like, lacking execution versus arguably the best team in the world isn't something that you should be ashamed of. And right now, Indonesia, with qualification off the charts right now, they are playing for honor of their country and also their experience, like you mentioned. And these players are very mechanically talented players, all of them. I've seen them play for 2 weeks now, and I don't think that they are mechanically lacking players. It's just that they lack the experience on the big stage. And although this is an online qualifier right now, like these kind of matches, like you said, when can you ever meet OWL champion caliber teams? Like not too often. So
extremely hard.
This is going to be a very good learning experience for the side of Indonesia. Of course, you play to win, so they are definitely going to play to win for the second map, which is I think going to be. It has to be hybrid because if you take a look at the map pools over there to escort right now, Circuit Royale is actually one of the hardest maps to spawn camp because the corner is really short from the spawn, and if South Korea can full hold a team,
I don't think you want to go to Circuit
Royale. But look, Circuit Royale is one of the hardest maps to spawn camp, and if Korea did that, then like maps like Shambali, like it's going to be even more difficult.
So I'm thinking hybrid too.
Yeah, it has to be hybrid.
More likely Blizzard World, maybe even Kings Row.
It depends on what kind who Indonesia wants to play as tank. If Zekrom is going to go back into the starting not starting, but wants to go back into the roster, maybe Blizzard World, because Zekrom, we have seen Zekrom play a lot of Winston, and I think Indonesia picked Blizzard World every time, if I'm not mistaken, because they are pretty confident on their double flankers, and also on that first match against Hong Kong, it was a very impressive performance. I think it was the best performance that, at least, that they've shown so far by going almost full capping Blizzard World against Hong Kong. So maybe Blizzard World, we'll see about that.
We'll see. As it seems like we're taking some time, or Indonesia is taking the time either to choose the map, or we have some subs coming in. I think it might be both. We'll see what happens because it's the second to the last day, and against South Korea, of course we are giving a lot of compliments to Indonesia because we're seeing a lot of improvements too. But if you can prove your own play against South Korea, that's already an accomplishment, I think. Because you might say that we're talking mean to Indonesia, but I think we're actually complimenting Indonesia in a lot of good ways here. South Korea, there, I actually saw some of the not official, but like some Discord interviews with influencers with the South Korean team, and they were actually saying on circuit they had some, and also in Lijiang, they were saying, okay, they were asking if it was a practice for the later stage, like against Saudi or against like USA, against the other teams, and they were just saying, oh, like we didn't really think about that, but I guess since you ask, I'll say yes. So basically, Team South Korea is right now currently not really first of all not trying to reveal anything at this stage. For the qualifiers.
Of course. Even for South Korea, they are, although like they have a very common root, a lot of the teams are from the former Dallas Fuel, and a lot of the players know each other because these have been players that have been playing in the Korean server for a long time. However, as a team in a short-paced tournament like the World Cup, you have to kind of conceal all the tactical, I guess, secrets that you may have. And if you're going against a team, no disrespect to their opponents, but if it's a team that you don't necessarily have to reveal all your hidden cards, then why open them, right? So I think this is also going to be a little bit more about like, hey, we had this kind of issues for Team Korea. We had this kind of issues on team communication. Let's kind of figure this out a little bit. Although we did win, we might have some minor issues that we want to fix. I think this is going to be the time where Korea wants to kind of fine tune those kind of issues. And I'm hearing some very interesting things from production here. And
some substitutes.
so
happening?
map is actually going to be escort.
Okay. So I need to
excited
I need
to
to get this
see.
ready again.
Okay, yeah, it might be a little longer than 7 centimeters this time.
I think this one goes to
Okay.
3 meters.
Okay.
So okay, I might
Can
be.
you hold this?
I think I'll be outcapped easily.
So, just as a reference, the distance between G-Clef and I is about
45,
45 centimeters.
Uh-huh.
So that's about like what? It's like 30, 20,
It's like
28,
1.5
inches?
feet.
Yeah, so it's
like 1.5 feet.
Inches.
In feet.
inches.
Inches, then
Yes.
18.
Yeah, so something like
Quick
that.
math. Uh-huh.
And so we hope that we don't have to use this. The payload goes a little bit more than
We're going to
this,
be running out of this for sure.
of course. And we have also.
But we're ready for cast today. That's what we do all the time. Uh-huh.
Okay, we also have some substitutions on
What
both
is
sides.
Happening.
And
right now.
okay,
I'm reading.
I am not going to reveal this.
I'm reading something that's hard to understand in my. So my brain power is not enough to understand what's happening right now. So let's go into Gibraltar, our second map between Indonesia and South Korea.
This makes a little bit sense because although it is escort, it is a Winston map. It is a map that you can play Winston or Diva. I am hearing. I'll spoil this. I'll spoil half of it. Indonesia is going with Zekrom. So I'm definitely expecting something like a Winston composition here. Maybe a double flanker. Maybe throwing an Ashe if needed. Or maybe even an Echo. I think Echo might be a little bit viable. But maybe not because Proxies is subbed out by none other than GC. GC is playing DPS for this one.
Oh, take a look at the top. Yeah, speed 75 with GC DPS. Zekrom back on support. Zekrom back on tank and support. It's exactly the same.
Oh,
okay.
man. Okay.
Wait, what's happening with South Korea?
South Korea. Look, this is not a production mistake. Sparkle is playing
Finn's
on
here.
tank. Finn is playing for the first time, but on
DPS.
DPS. And Fearless is playing Echo. What is going on here? Lip is playing the Ana, and Chio is the only one that's going to play their main role. Chio is the sad person to play the Brig.
No wonder the production showed our wonderful faces for the last 5 minutes. They had a lot of job to do.
Yeah, no wonder the break was a little bit longer.
Oh God! What
But
is happening
we
now?
do have to talk about this. Finn is playing his first match for Team South Korea
Who's a
here.
support?
Well, I mean, he hasn't played his first match as a support.
Yes.
He hasn't because he's playing his first match as a DPS.
I guess he's now officially a DPS. Well, Sparkle, who's the DPS, is now tank. He's sleeping, of course, for a second. Lit. Oh, I guess that's going to be
Fearless's first kill in the World Cup as a DPS. Woo!
Oh, Zekrom was focused pretty hard there.
Okay, we are already approaching. We already exceeded 3 meters, so South Korea will not be using that roulette that G-Clef has. And I think Indonesia doesn't know what's going on because...
Yeah, they lost a tank. They lost their tank already pretty early on. And along with the Tracer, so. And they can't compete.
Oh, Finn. Finn, you madman. The Finn is going with the Tourbillon with the hammer and nails.
Yeah, at least Zekrom is actually on top getting heals, but the problem is that you have to get healed on top and the bottom at the same time. So either Genji or Tracer survive on their own,
Yes.
or else Winston's actually going to die from top.
Okay, so South Korea is actually having surprisingly good high ground control, even all things considered. And already the positional advantage is towards South Korea, unless Shrimp can take out both the Echo and the Winston, which Fearless's Echo already falls down. And okay, it looks like things are going to get stabilized a little bit for the side of Indonesia. Sparkle does have Sparkle, you have to jump back, not front, because you have less members. Lip is very, very low.
Still not scared. There's a nano.
Oh, but you don't need to be scared. And while this was all happening, G-Clef, South Korea already capped first point.
And Speed, though, has been alive for quite a long time, actually. He has been picking up a few kills. And so certainly some better trade for South Korea, but Indonesia, the problem is that they're not dying as much in this map specifically, but still they're getting pushed. That's the real problem. So there's not a real big 5v5 fight. It's just a skirmish everywhere happening right now.
Okay, well, apparently Shrimp is having fun because he said yes.
He killed Finn.
He killed Finn. Oh, okay.
So that's the reason.
All right, so that's something to be celebrating.
Mission accomplished.
Yeah, mission accomplished. Because if I actually kind of took down Finn in an official tournament,
I would screenshot that.
I would screenshot that and I would put that in an album and I would put that on my living room. So
yeah, I would pass that on to my child.
True.
Later on too. Here it is. Speed,
okay,
who has
maybe
been playing very well actually. So takes down Finn. It's another Zekrom who hasn't been playing a lot better.
Nice.
Left on the way.
Lip.
Wow, that dart should have been really good.
Okay, so things are a little bit all over the place right now. It is a little bit hard to analyze what's going on. However, one thing is clear, that South Korea is winning those small fights and winning those small skirmishes, and already the payload is almost up to point A. So South Korea is almost at the moment of capping point B. I'm getting out of words here.
I keep on thinking that this Winston is fearless, but it's actually the opposite. And Echo's still pushing hard, and still 440, so this won't be a record of 447. But still they're okay.
But habits don't die. They want to spawn camp again.
It's the opposite actually. Indonesia is actually the one defending guy, just to be clear.
They're defending, well, I mean, they're defending, but defending what? They're defending their base.
Someone's pushing the payload at least.
Well, I think it has to be Lip, doesn't it? I think it is, and that is going to be the Nano Indonesia just to have South Korea out of their spawns. But Finn says no and takes Speed 75 out of the picture. Sparkle, when did he have that? When did he have that primal rage again?
Fearless back on Winston for now
GC4
with the duplicate, and there's a primal rage keeping everyone off the point, and the escort almost their Speed. Trying to contest for a second. There's a recall.
Fearless kind of wanted to play tank again. He was like, okay, let me play tank again. I want to just duplicate.
Okay, Dragon Strike on the point. It actually goes a little too far. Can you actually get all the way 2 meters down? 2.08. Speed is still alive. Somehow, there it goes. Fire Tracer finally gone, and there's a headshot on to
This is what you've been cooking on the bench. Oh my god, what a console god.
DPS god is born today. That's Finn for South Korea. And that will be 330 with 3 points for South Korea first half.
Oh my god. What have I witnessed? Yes, it is not a record time. Japan has that record time right now.
447.
But this is giving me, to be honest, this is more of a shock than that 447 push on Gibraltar. Oh my god. So this is gonna, wow, Fearless.
So this is what Fearless wanted to do.
Oh, well, look.
Duplicate into Winston.
Look, Fearless doing that on the Winston is something that we're used to be seeing. But on an Echo duplicating Winston, that is, I did not wake up to that today. I did not wake
I thought you had no sleeve. Close to no sleeve.
Yes, a little bit. Okay, but they're mixing it again. Look at these people. Lip is on the Sigma. Chio is on the Genji.
No Torbjorn 1v1, please. That's not gonna. Let's not. Let's not have that. Okay.
Okay. Finn still wants to play the DPS. He was like, okay, there's a pause.
Okay, there's a pause. Sparkle.
Sparkle had a little. I think Sparkle was a little bit too overeager there.
Maybe too much rage from that Winston on his own.
Okay, maybe. Yeah. Maybe.
And he's not used to that position, so maybe he was consumed by that rage. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah, we'll definitely hear from production what's going to happen.
This match is certainly chaotic. I think that's one of the best words to summarize what's been happening so far.
I guess, for lack of a better word, yes, chaotic will do. If I find another word in my dictionary in my brain, maybe I'll look it up. But chaotic seems about right.
Our brain at the moment is sort of fried.
Yeah, it's kind of like that status when I'm flashbanged and it's like, everything's white. It was like, what is happening here? I need to catch up with what's happening.
There's a magnetic grenade chasing me right now,
Oh,
so I need to run
man.
away from it, and I can't blink.
Oh no, you are hindered.
Oh, man.
The new status effect hindered.
I know, guys. Sometimes during the qualifiers, things do happen, but stick with us as the match will eventually come back and happen. We do need to have the second
Right
half.
now, they're unpausing and
Okay, Sparkle's back.
okay. Team Korea needs to figure out who's gonna play what right now because I don't know what they're gonna play and I don't think they know what they're gonna play either.
Let's not try to think too much. Especially for what they want to play.
Look at
to
Fearless
start
right now. Fearless is kind of like, okay, what am I gonna play today?
Oh, back on Hanzo though. But they do need to get there on time. They just swapped a couple of the members.
Okay. 2 meters, 3 meters, so we don't have to use the ruler.
Okay, no ruler time this time. A GC actually on Torbjorn. And Bastion with Reinhardt, so this is basically payload push.
Okay, Chio. Oh, Sparkle
Down already. I don't think there was enough members at the perfect place because the Team Korea still had a lot of respawns.
I don't think they were expecting the Bastion as well. Look at Finn, though. Look at him. He's firing. Oh, wow. Okay, somebody, maybe he might go back to...
Okay, but still, the payload is actually pushing. It's being contested now from the top. And not anymore for too long, but they actually pushed quite a lot because South Korea, they were still trying to decide with the comp what they wanted to do in the defense.
Okay, to me, I just have one thing to say.
What is it?
Finn should definitely play DPS in the Overwatch League in the summer. Look, team staff, I know you guys are here listening to this. Please use Finn as a DPS. He is so good.
This is one of the best places for Doomfist to push and basically stick them onto the wall and do some damage. Well, Sparkle, how do you not die?
Oh, and... Oh, this is...
The meteor right there in that small room, and Finn just casually came up from the side and headshots. Pick up the last two remaining members of Indonesia. South Korea now on... I remember seeing this.
This is a familiar story.
Couple more times.
And, okay, there is the Bastion ult to zone out South Korea a little bit. They already were out of position, so it will not matter that much. And Sparkle is having fun with the Doofus. Look, before Overwatch 2, in Overwatch 1, Doofus was a DPS, so I think it does make sense a little bit. However, Sparkle's having fun.
Of course.
And Finn is having fun. He was, look, okay, I was in the bed for too long. I am going to have fun. I am going to kill people. I am going to shoot at people.
Yeah, the domination of GCS came all the way around at Sombra and wanted to push a little more, trying to look for that
Got that
contact.
chanceless getter as well.
Yes, Sparkle was looking for that. Like, where is that? Me. Ooh. You see? Actually, not revealing for the push. Now revealed. South Korea, they're looking for it.
They know what's
Sombra.
happening. They know what's happening, but,
Yeah,
I think they're electing to neglect it a little bit. Oh, Lip's going to do the 1v1.
Okay, let's see who wins.
Oh,
Sombra.
Finn finally falls.
Okay, this is a chance for Indonesia. The entire team just got back. And the window.
Okay,
With
I
the
think
rush.
South Korea had a little bit too much fun. Yes, they do use the Life Weaver ult, but Speed 75, good play on taking out key members of South Korea, and it looks like it is going to be a 0.8 cap for the side of Indonesia.
They're actually coming all the way out here. As South Korea, they actually had a couple of ultimates used early on. So Indonesia will get that point. The
Well
second
done
team to
from
actually get points off of South Korea in this qualifier.
Yes, I think it is the second team. Indonesia is the second team to take even a single point, even though it's not a map, a single point from away from South Korea. Hong Kong was the first team to do so in King's Row, and
There's that
Indonesia's the
EMP, a
second team
pretty
to
good
do it.
EMP actually. To land on a couple of them, not following up to actually get killed on the back line.
Dragon Blade finds no one.
That's a crazy moment where you have the Dragon Blade, but you know once you go in, you are going to be the one falling.
Hey, but no kill from the Dragon Blade, but good team maneuver from Indonesia. They surrounded Chio, and Chio had nowhere to go. However, Finn is Finn chose violence today, and he is wiping out the entirety of Team Indonesia.
Yeah, even though the team is struggling to... Of course, they pushed a lot more after the first point, but actually, speed Genji is very impressive, even though while all these hectic stuff is happening at the same time, speed actually controls enough that he knows when not to go in, when to strike in, even after the blade, when he can actually look for the kill along with that anti from Shrimp.
Yeah, so Chio had a platform right in front of them, so yes, as much as how much Speed 75 would have wanted to go in with that blade, and like, just wait a second, because this is the blade from Fearless, and what a Fearless blade from Fearless. I'm playing with my words here, however, what a good blade from Fearless. But going back to the initial point, yes, Speed 75 did have some good discipline on not going in, because that platform over there was going to deny access to the backline of South Korea. Instead, Indonesia chose to maneuver and outmaneuver and take out Chio, so that was a good decision. And I'm still impressed. Not just saying this because I'm broadcasting Indonesia play right now. It's just that, comparing from how Indonesia played from day one at the qualifiers and today right now, this is a massive improvement from what I've been seeing.
Yeah, still only halfway. They need to wait for the corner, and also South Korea all the way on top of the plane. Shrimp off position there. We caught up by Lip, and Speed actually targeting the opponent Ana at the same time. But that blade won't be available with the Nano now.
Zekrom down, so that means a lot of control, a lot of positional control will go to the side of South Korea. And yeah, South Korea using those positional advantages will be going down and cleaning house.
Well, that tree was there for a couple of seconds. And Chio decides not to have it anymore, and they actually go all the way out. Okay, here's Sparkle with Doomfist.
Sparkle very low. There's gonna be the Nano Blade, but oh, nice sleep by Lip! Lip falls anyways, but still, that Nano Blade is denied due to the great sleep of Lip. Now they are on overtime. This is going to be their last chance.
Oh, but hold on, as yes, P75, even after the blade, actually picking up the low HP members along with Zekrom's help. A really nicely done. Indonesia actually pushing to second point.
Okay, so Indonesia fights and wins to fight another day. And this is, well, I mean, yes, South Korea is having a little bit of fun, but it still is impressive from Indonesia, because this is a feat that only 2 teams, including themselves, in the Overwatch World Cup have done so far.
That's something they do have to be careful, Indonesia, whenever they leave the back line open, along with the anti. Even the opponent Ana is actually going to strike on you.
Yeah, I mean, Lip's a DPS. Like, Lip is Ana, but okay, Ana is a support, but Lip is a DPS.
I actually want to see the amount healed from Lip. Because I think he's been on an offensive mode for the entirety of this map. And Indonesia also changing up a little bit. GC here on the Widow, trying to contest that Finn Widow. Widow do 1v1.
Okay, enough, I think.
But 20 seconds left.
Zekrom has to pop the Primal Rage to survive. Good. Nano Blade for Fearless. I'm impressed with the Fearless Genji here. Yes, we've been
third target. Got him. And Finn takes care of the Genji on the other side. Zekrom on the point, but Finn takes care of that Winston.
Remember, this is the Fearless Genji here. We have, okay, South Korea has 3 Genjis. It's Sparkle, it's Lip, it's Fearless.
And South Korea wins with a 2-0 score. But of course, Indonesia was able to push a lot further. And of course, we can't really put that on a record and say, okay, Indonesia pushed that far against South Korea, because South Korea had a lot of different ways of playing the second map.
A lot of shenanigans going on through the match, but still, I do want to credit Team Indonesia. They've been, like I said, I I don't think a lot of people expected them to win against South Korea
Mm-hmm.
anyways, but still, I do see a lot of positive improvements, not just on the individual level, but as a team. So I don't know how they are going to play tomorrow. I don't know what roster they're going to come up with tomorrow. I don't know how they're going to play next year, but this is for certain that I think that a lot of players and from the side of Indonesia, and even the staff as well, will learn from this experience and will come stronger, because if you can improve on a 2-week qualifier, then that means there's a lot of room for you to improve, and then you can be maybe one day to that match that caliber of the players on South Korea. So, credit to Team Indonesia.
Yeah, Indonesia still, they do have to fight against the Philippines tomorrow. So let's see what happens in that matchup too. And for Korea, I think they specifically did this because they have the biggest match of the qualifier here, as that will be tomorrow versus Japan. So I think this was very likely intentional. Not showing strategy at all before the big match. Of
Yeah,
the
they're going
qualifier.
to actually confuse Japan right now. Like, Japan's going to be really
They-
confused
they,
coming
they
into
should have
this
been
match.
watching the match and said, okay, we got nothing out of that. Like, what do we prepare tomorrow?
For the fearless Genji? Well, look, for all I know, tomorrow you can see Hanbin on the tank and Fearless on the Genji. That's a
no way.
possibility.
No way.
No, I'm dead serious here. And Lip on the Ana.
Lips Ana was actually really good. I have to. I've
And,
been impressed.
and
I was impressed.
Finn on the hit scan.
Yes.
Finn on the hit
yes.
scan was phenomenal.
Cassidy was actually pretty good.
And
I
all
saw a
the-
lot of
all the
headshots
Widowmakers
landing. But we'll see what happens because, well, South Korea, this is the power strength that they can still show off, even off rolls, even with the off rolls. Well, another credit to production by having going through that many changes.
sorting that all, like comp ops and production, they're the best.
They're the best. And yeah, actually, that match was actually chaotic in a lot of ways, but also very fun.
Yeah, very fun to watch as well.
Very fun to watch, and hopefully you guys enjoyed as much as we did, because that still is a 2-0, and Indonesia will now have a 0-4. So they will be having the last match, but it's going to be just for the experience and what they can actually do. But that's only our first match of the night. Next up, we do have the Chinese Taipei versus Philippines. That's going to be our second match of the night, so don't go anywhere. We'll be right back. welcome back everyone to APAC Group A. We had a bit of a clown fiesta to begin the day, but it's time to get our series pants on because this time we have Chinese Taipei versus Philippines, and some of these teams, to be in fact, Chinese Taipei, they need to win this desperately with a 2-0 to actually have some chances tomorrow to get that third place spot.
Exactly. Chinese Taipei has been having a hard time against Korea and Japan in the first week of the qualifiers, and they finally got their first win, 2-0 in a convincing fashion against Indonesia yesterday. And they need to win not just today, but also depending on how Hong Kong does today, they may have to win against Hong Kong tomorrow as well in order for them to clinch that third place spot.
Yeah, that's going to be the big factor because they did get a pretty convincing win yesterday, which looked really good, especially their DPS line there. Hope Light did not play yesterday, I believe. Hope and Snow were really keeping it up, especially Nexus, switching between Tomato, the tank. Depending on the map, they have been substituting really well, and of course pairing it up with the back line. But compared to that, we always had some worries for Philippines, especially Pogba not really getting healed at the right moments. So in terms of tank duo, I think Chinese Taipei should be winning a lot of the team fight, especially because of backline support. But that's in theory. We don't exactly know what Philippines have. Of course, they have been having one of the biggest matchup yesterday, so it's also an important factor if they have recovered mentally.
Exactly.
Because that 007 can actually be some brain damage.
Well, I mean, I don't necessarily think that Philippines will take it like very too much to heart. I think Philippines were actually in a jovial mood after that loss against South Korea. Again, like we also discussed this about Indonesia today, but Philippines too. I don't think they were expecting themselves to win against South Korea. It was just a matter of, hey, how competitive we can be and also how much we can learn from that experience.
Exactly.
So I don't think like the mental aspect is going to be really, really crucial, but I do think that Philippines, more than Chinese Taipei, has to figure out what they want to do with that comp. Because they've been playing a few different comps, but it seemed like that not all of the players on that team agreed on how they want this composition to be played. And Chinese Taipei, to be honest, had the same kind of issues. However, like on yesterday's win against Indonesia, I think that Chinese Taipei kind of ironed out a lot of these issues, especially on target acquisition and target focus. So right now, just comparing these two teams on paper, I think that Chinese Taipei will have the upper hand in terms of I guess power levels. However, Philippines, if they have address the issues that they were facing in both week 1 and earlier week 2, then I think they still stand a chance.
Yep, and Redux is actually back on that APS line. Grindisado not with the starting line, Chun-Li back into the support with Geno. And Pogba has been using a lot of Reinhardt, especially on some of the control starting maps. So we'll see if that continues. And we were seeing yesterday as Walked had some issues pairing up with the tank and the back line. The position we will mention again and again when we go into the map, they were actually not gathered up as much compared to the opponents. That's clearly their weakness when the Winston comes. They don't have the back line they're supposed to gather up. They don't have it seems like to me that they don't really have those positions detailed, practiced. So if that actually comes into play, if they have one of their better maps, maybe that will show. And I'm pretty sure Chinese Taipei will try to strike into that point.
Exactly, and Philippines right now, the first map is going to be Nepal. Like you mentioned, Pogba has been using a little bit more of Ryan rather than the Winston recently. Maybe like aware of those issues that when they run the Winston composition, sometimes they like Pogba or Walked in that sense get isolated kills. Well, on the other side of. So that means they get killed isolated, and so they don't even have a team fight. So I think maybe Orion on Rush, maybe in order in this map especially. I think this is going to be Shrine for the first round here, which is a very Rhine composition viable map here. So I think we'll see. Oh, also the Ram Rush is also equally viable.
Okay.
I think Ram Rush is a little bit better in terms of a little bit of tactical flexibility compared to the Reinhardt, where the Reinhardt is very, very reliant on whether you get that shatter early and then you register the shatter. However, for the Ramatra, it is a little bit, because the Annihilation is AoE, it provides a little bit more utility in terms of positioning. So I think this is, if you can actually make this composition work, I think this is a good composition. Chinese Taipei, they know that, I think they might have kind of anticipated a Winston composition here, because Tomato is starting with that Junker Queen composition. So on the composition gamble here, I think Philippines does have the upper hand, but it all comes down to execution here, G-Club.
Yeah, we'll see on the point. And in 5 seconds, it will be unlocked. As Puglet, I do think Ramatra is actually one of his better heroes that we have seen from the last 2 weeks. And Philippines slightly in a better position, but Hope already getting a kill onto, okay, trading kills here. As Echo down, Redux still alive, but with just Geno, not enough heals coming through from Lucio. And that will be Chinese Taipei pushing all the way, losing Moira that early. Yeah, came to bite them.
Yeah, losing early, Moira early is really it's crucial for the side of Philippines, because with that just one heal, a single heal output from Lucio is not going to be enough for everyone on the side of Philippines. So yes, there was, I think, a good moment for Redux taking that trade kill. However, it was not enough because the sustain was not there. But I do like the initial idea of on the Philippines side, because one of the issues that we've been mentioning is that Philippines were suffering a lot of isolated kills. So the Philippines is going with the comparatively mobile Lucio and Moracom so that they can actually stick together. However, it is not working so far because Chinese Taipei is wiping them out in the neutral fight.
Yeah, that too. As Philippines, they were gathered up this time, but it's because of that Echo and also the Jungle Queen just surviving way too much. And Philippines, I think they have to strike a little faster, even having some speed boost. I think they're taking too much time rotating to the side, and they have everyone literally on the same point. So which means that it's, yeah, for Echo and Jungle Queen, it's just a lot easier to actually do damage. See how low that Lucio is already. And this Echo is not being contested at all.
Yeah, remember when we talked about Coalescence here, remember when we talked about, we can talk about the Echo later. However, look at Snow with that pulse bomb on Pugbutt. Pugbutt falling and everyone else falling as well. With 75% on the line right now, it is going to be final fight territory for the side of Philippines. I want to mention this Echo pick here, G-Club, because remember, we've been talking a lot about Echo, especially on Lighthouse, on Ilios, but on Nepal here, Chinese Taipei is getting a lot of value from this Echo pick. Remember, if you want Echo to work, then number one, you should have the point first, which Chinese Taipei actually did, and also the remaining members on the ground should be able to at least win or survive the 4v5, and with that sustain on the Junker Queen, they are actually making all those checkboxes happen. So Chinese Taipei making full advantage of their compositional strengths here.
Exactly. Even after the rampage, Zeno actually responded really well with a perfect sound barrier time, and Chun-Li's field. But again, Chinese Taipei in a better position, and time is up 100% to 0. As here again, Philippines could not really hold their ground at all, land their feet even inside that zone for not long. Basically a couple of seconds at the very early on, and ever since then, they were just trying to rotate off to the side to the stairs, and they really got to even touch the point.
Yeah, so you can see hope here, and I just can't praise the Echo pick here enough because, hey, we've seen multiple times that, especially on the teams that are struggling in this group, that they have tried to use the Echo but did not get a lot of value out of it, and Chinese Taipei was actually one of those teams. They were using Echo against Japan, they were using Echo against Korea, if I am not mistaken, and they have not failed to get any value out of it, but now they understand that if they want to get value out of the Echo,
Junk?
Okay.
That we do not really see Junk in competitive, but here we go. We do have hope. And Whoop coming around the corner with Redux on Cassidy. So Hope. Pugbutt.
Tomato very low, so the Immortality field has to be expended. So positional advantage for Philippines of the early fight. However, Tomato with that Ramatra will be able to be a little bit more flexible in terms of strategy and tactics here, and a little bit of more possibilities to outmaneuver Philippines, which they actually do. So it is actually Chinese Taipei who is getting on the point first. No, actually,
The Philippines actually,
yes. I'm
grabbing
sorry.
13 points already, and that's Junkrat down, Tomato, and might be thinking about few different switches now, especially when that Reinhardt is there. But on this map, if you're really like a master level Junkrat, you can make things happen. Certainly.
I think the logic here is that they were anticipating the Reinhardt and they wanted to use the Junkrat to break the shields very early. I don't think they're getting as much value as they were expecting to.
And also you can
Well, there it is. I'm sorry to interrupt you, G-Cliff, but you saw how Pugbug's shield just got decimated there. However, Chinese Taipei does need to, yes, they are on the point now. They need to be, since they're behind on percentage right now, they need to be very aware of the objective, because last time we have seen Chinese Taipei, when they were struggling early in week 1, they were winning team fights. However, they were late to touch the point, and they lost so many valuable percentages that they lost the map.
Yeah, it makes it. There's a shatter and Hope actually saved by the field, and Pugbug, okay, delivers a kill onto Maui. Off target there, but still managed to do so using everything that they actually have. Here's a tire. Where's it going? Finds Lucio only.
Okay, so Philippines used all their ults, but Chinese Taipei also used a lot of their ults. Only the pulse bomb remaining and Mauli's sound barrier upcoming, but still a little bit far away because it's 80%. So I think Chinese Taipei might have wanted to save those ultimates, especially the Annihilation. I don't think Tomato was expecting to get focused down that fast. But in the end, Philippines, yes, they used a lot of ults to gain access to flip the point back in their favor. However,
Tracer 1v1?
they are still... Okay, never mind. I was about to say that they're in the lead in the ult economy, but if they lose the neutral fight like this, then
Yeah, it's
never
tough
mind.
as they're on the point in the small room to the side. As Chinese Taipei, they actually fought a lot better. And a few other things. Oh, here comes Trara for Mercy.
Wow.
That we have seen slightly, not for too long, yesterday too.
I mean, yes, but usually on Nepal you would expect something like a Pharaoh on Village or Shrine.
Yeah,
So
not here.
Not Sanctum. But I guess it's the logic here is that they don't have a lot of anti-air because Ramatra is not necessarily anti-air.
Yeah, Junkrat's not anti-air for sure.
At all, so maybe it makes a little bit
Or
of
shatter.
sense on paper. Good shatter, but Pugbug is very low.
Basically saved by the field, actually stays alive. The support is there for Philippines.
However, everyone is down on the side of Chinese Taipei, and it is final fight territory for Chinese Taipei. They have to touch and win this team fight if they want to keep this map going.
Yeah, finally that Junkrat's gone. Hope back on Echo and saying, okay, we need to touch the point and get this back. 99%.
Snow does able
overtime.
to touch the point. Will there be a follow-up? Yes, they are. Tracer,
Oh, Snow immediately picks up.
Tracer did touch, but at the cost of his life. And the barrage is available to do a lot of damage and takes out Tomato. It doesn't look like Chinese Taipei can turn back this one, and it is going to be tied here on Nepal.
Raymamo could not be on the point. That was just a tiny bit late. And we have 1-1, which is quite rare of a... We did not have that many 1-1s on control so far.
I think this is the first one on APAC-A. All the control maps from 2-0.
Must be right, because you're the stats guy. I have full trust in you.
Well, you're the stats major, but...
Well, I did not graduate, I told you. It was a minor, too.
Well, yes, unless I am very mistaken, which in case I would apologize, but I think this is... I am pretty sure that this is the first round 3 of control that we're having in APAC-A. So this is exciting. It looks like Philippines, yes, they were a little shaky on Shrine, but it looks like they know what they're trying to do. And to be honest, I think Wolfsparrow did a lot.
Pugbud
Did a lot of more value than I thought it would be.
Choose that, and Symmetra just picking up kills as without tank, no shield, no barrier. There's actually Tomato on Reinhardt too.
Yeah, usually, from what we've been seeing so far, is that Nexus is the usual main tank of this roster, and Tomato would be the off tank. But it doesn't mean that they're mutually exclusive right now, especially in Overwatch 2. And situations like this, you need your tank to play in a little bit both categories, because theoretically, in Overwatch 2, they aren't such a classification such as main tank, off tank. But historically, you would expect that Tomato have less practice on the Reinhardt. We'll see how it goes, though.
T-Locked, still paired up with the Mercy. And here's Chinese Taipei trying to stay in an angle where they're not targeted by that Pharah.
Exactly, so we go again with the theoretics here. Yes, the Pharah, the Echo is good, however, it is effective once you have control of the point and you're trying to deny access of the opponent to the point. It's not as effective if the opponent already has access to the point and you have to be the one trying to retake it. And also, unlike the round 1 where Junker Queen was the source of a lot of sustain, even in a 4v5 situation, it is going to be Orion. So the backline is going to have to be very aware to keep Pugbud alive if they want Wukt's Pharmacy to get a lot of value.
Yeah, so Chinese Taipei, they're actually staying with hope, and there's that wall again.
But under a lot of pressure, but Wukt getting a lot of value from that barrage.
3 kills, better trade for the Philippines again. Only 26%, but this is a pretty good fight with just one. And was there also an Earth Shatter, it seems like, from Pugbud?
Yes, so it was a amplification matrix from Chun-Li. It was also a Shatter from Pugbud, and it was a barrage from Wukt. So they used a lot of ultimates here. I think they are going to even out the point percentages here. However, Chinese Taipei, if everything goes their way, it will be an expected fight win for them. There is that symmetrical wall there. I don't think they need to use any more ultimates for this current fight, and okay.
Yeah, casual Reinhardt passing by, well, almost passed, but did not manage to go all the way. Philippines, they had to gather a few more ults, and they were separated. And this time, Chinese Taipei, with just using that Photon
Photon
they're good
barrier.
to go.
And because since Chinese Taipei only used one ultimate, they didn't give the turn away totally to the Philippines. And with the neutral fight win, I think they saved them yet another chance. And this Shatter is going to be very important for the side of Chinese Taipei because Pugbud is far, far, far away from his own Shatter. And if Chinese Taipei gets to profit from the Shatter, it's going to be map win for them because it's already at 96%.
Yeah, it's going to be about the barrage. Wukt almost ready to go. It's locked now. As Chinese Taipei's, okay, there it is.
Barrage there, but nobody there to touch!
Wow. Hey guys, welcome back. As I was frozen after that moment.
Rocket hit me. Yes, that rocket.
You got hit by the barrage, and sometimes the game does end in that fashion.
Yep. I think it was a good main wall to deny. I think usually
the other side, right?
Yeah, usually when players touch, then usually have like a order. So hey, I'm gonna touch first, and if I die or if I'm very low, I'm gonna go out, or at least try to go out, and then another member touch. They have an internal order. I think once that first or like player is denied access to the point, then the second player has to react really quickly in order to because it's not as planned. But I don't think that reaction was there. So good wall on the side of Chinese Taipei. And yes, they did give up Sanctum. It was a little bit sloppy. It wasn't clean. We had our first round 3 of APAC qualifiers. But hey, Chinese Taipei went on top, and they are already at match point.
Yeah, they still got +1, which is what they wanted. Probably wants that +2 out of this matchup. As if we go back to the control, we had our first Junkrat, which actually makes sense. Some of the Junkrats actually using the mine, you can actually throw the Reinhardt off the ground and look for the kill while that's happening. That did make sense in theory, but there are lots of other DPSs that can be better. And when you're thinking about like the team synergy or Junkrat, oftentimes because you can't exactly hit the right target at the moment you want to focus, a lot of people say he's not really the one for competitive.
Hey, tell that to Jake, and see what he thinks about
Well,
it.
I do have golden weapon on Junkrat, so I can't complain. So I'm not gonna lie.
I mean, I understand the concept. I agree that it's not necessarily the best hero to play. But I do understand the concept. You know that the opponent's going with the Reinhardt. They want to break shields, and especially if you want to go with the Rein. I guess maybe if you want to go with the Rein mirror, then having that shield unavailable for your opponent is going to be like miles ahead, making your Rein ahead.
Yeah, it's okay. Even if you don't break the shield, you can actually just bounce off the wall right behind. It's actually a really good map to actually just bounce your damage off the wall and just hit the back line. Of course, you can't. If you can hit it all the time, you're going to get a kill. But even if you can't, you're still chipping in some damage. So there were a lot of reasons for that Junkrat.
Yeah, and for the side of Chinese Taipei, I think this means a lot because, yes, although rounds don't count, I think, unless I am mistaken, they still got that map win, which is really important because for them, especially if they want to qualify here, if they want to set up for qualification here, map differentials is likely going to be very, very key. For the side of Chinese Taipei, they need all the maps that they need in order for them to compete with Hong Kong for that third place qualifier place.
Yeah, certainly. As Philippines actually taking one off from Nepal, I think that should have gave them a lot more chances and saying, okay, we can actually compete. Redux walked. They had some promising signs as so far there were some really good Pharah moment. I think. Depending on the map, maybe they will try to contest, but it was usually only on the control where they actually had Pharah Mercy, and sometimes they change back into their own Echo. It's another option if they want to choose into one of those hybrid maps. I think that's totally possible, but it's up to them as we have seen some. Okay, Shambali. I was going to say, just no circuit.
Hey, but Shambali is also, like, to be fair, Shambali is a map that spawn camping is a lot easier than Circuit Royale. So unless you're going against the odds of South Korea, I think Shambali is an okay choice. So Philippines, in case it's the first time for you watching, this is a 1st to 2, and so that means that the loser of map 1 gets to choose not only the map but also the map type. So it is the Philippines' choice of map, and it will be Shambali, and that is an escort map. So it's maybe I'm expecting something like a Ramatra here. Maybe I think Ramatra makes a lot of sense. If you want to run the Reinhardt rush, that's also viable. But we'll see how it goes. From seeing that Chinese Taipei doesn't have Tomato subbed out, I think they're definitely going with the Ram rush. I think
still no Nexus coming out from Chinese Taipei today.
Yeah, I mean, because since it's an escort map, a lot of usually on escort maps, off tanks usually take the floor, and this is no different. And Ramatra is a relatively new hero, so sometimes the traditional main tank plays Ramatra, sometimes the off tank plays Ramatra, but in this case it looks like Tomato is going to be the main Ramatra player for Chinese Taipei. Looking at their positioning here, I don't think they're necessarily going to go with the spawn camp strat here.
Yep, and Light is actually here. The one playing a lot more hit scan for Chinese Taipei, and Snow did go. Hope actually did go out. So let's see the starting fight here as still keeping that Pharah Mercy strong for Philippines. Okay, it worked. Not that bad. We did not go into the point, but still, in terms of damage and what impact we actually had against Chinese Taipei, okay, let's keep this up. I think that's the line of thought that Philippines has.
Yes, I think Philippines did kind of a little bit profit for the pharmacy. I don't necessarily think that this is the best map to play pharmacy. But again, the same theory goes. If you want to run the pharmacy, that means you have only 3 members on the ground. then either you have to do so much damage that that the number advantage disadvantage doesn't matter on the ground, or that your forces on the ground are able to survive a 3v5. It looks like so a trade is okay, but they are losing ground. So it's now a 2v4, which is actually more. Oh, wait.
Okay, got a kill onto Lights. And Volk was still in the air trying to target on that Cassidy.
Okay,
coming around the corner.
I wasn't able to see that really clearly, but it looks like Farah did apply enough pressure for them to win on the ground fight. So, okay, never mind, because Wok is making this pharmacy work, and they're already approaching Barrage. So if they time it correctly and position it correctly, this Farah might buy Philippines another turn.
Yeah, actually, Puglet was getting healed really well from Chun-Li. Actually was able to survive for a long enough time for Wok to chip in that much damage. I could see the HP bar going back down and up for Light a couple of times. So that Wok's Farah has been on Light for the last 10 seconds or more.
Chinese Taipei knows that Philippines has a lot of ults, so they are pulling the trigger first with that Annihilation. Good ult usage from Chinese Taipei. They know that they have less ultimates and they want to pull the trigger now, so they finally stabilize things. And although Philippines, they do have 5 ults, Chinese Taipei did stall a little bit of time, which they need desperately here.
Well, still in the air, trying to go all the way to the side and harass the back line of Chinese Taipei as they're struggling to defend the right target here as Philippines actually holding a pretty good ground. So here's the initiation from Raymond with the sound barrier.
There is that barrage, but it was so far away that it only took out the immortality field. However,
better trade for the Philippines, actually using a lot more from the back line, was able to trade better.
Yes, trade better, but they also used a lot more ults. They have 5 ultimates in their bank, and they used 4. So I think Chinese Taipei was like, I mean, they used a lot of ults. This is a fight we're gonna be losing. But still, Philippines, they capped point A, and they got what they came for.
As long as they still have 1 more left, which is the important Dragon Strike, okay?
I mean, we've been seeing a lot of Dragon Strike kills, like, surprisingly, from the World Cup qualifiers.
It's usually for just to space them out from the payload.
Exactly.
Oh, here's a push from Chinese Taipei. They're going in all the way, pushing Philippines, trapping them in the wall.
There is that Dragon Strike. I don't think it finds anyone, but wow! What a punch from Tomato there, and everyone is...
Oh, and a headshot from Light onto that Farah. And the last one in the air brought down. Mercy gone too. So Team White.
Yeah, good stagger kill on Jenna from Raymond there. So Chinese Taipei has to wait a little bit. No, actually Philippines has to wait a little bit more. And that means less time on the time bank. And Chinese Taipei have key ultimates coming up. They have the Overclock. They have the Annihilation. So it is going to be a question of, hey, do they know how much ult charge Wok has? Okay, Wok already has the barrage, so it's going to be a fight of whether Chinese Taipei will be pulling the trigger first, or will Philippines just be firing the barrage first.
Yeah, and also Redux on that Hanzo has been having some pretty good headshots, dealing with the back line, also sometimes a DPS line of Chinese Taipei. So if those shots continue to land, hold on, Hanzo was about to be isolated. Here's Puglet trying to take the damage instead. The barrage is good. It looked good for a second, but what a save by Chinese Taipei.
Yeah, I think that barrage could have done a lot more damage if Snow didn't just headshot Wok there. So good awareness from Snow and good target priority from the Chinese Taipei team. And suddenly, all of a sudden, this is going to be a very awkward situation for the Philippines because yes, they will have the nano up very soon, but if Chinese Taipei finds that window before key ultimates pop up for Philippines, it is going to be almost last fight territory for Philippines.
Yeah, exactly. That's why I think they're Philippines right now. Of course, Farah's in the air, but a lot of pressure for Redux. The opening kill from Hanzo will be one of the greatest for Philippines because on this uphill choke point, it can be really hard as they're Hanzo. Okay, focused again, picked up the kill by Lucio. Light picking up more, the backline's gone. Wok trying to contest, actually get grabs few.
Wok doing a lot of
even through the
work
field
here.
let's look at the targeting. Those pushes.
But I like the idea from Chinese Taipei. They know that key ultimates is coming up from the side of Philippines. They want to stall as much time as they want, so they were on a forward defense. So now they, even though they lost that fight over there, they still have time for at least 1 or 2 more fights. This is what they wanted, and even though if this fight, for Chinese Taipei, for the side of Chinese Taipei, they want to beat out as much ultimates as they want. So there are 2 ultimates here, 3 ultimates for the side of Philippines. Yes, they will be.
The Sunbear is there, but it's already too late. They lost 2 of their members. No Ramatra in this fight to Philippines. Still have the Dragon Strike, and this payload is pushing. Yeah, no time, but it's going to cap.
Okay, I think the idea from Chinese Taipei was to, hey, we want to defend a little bit more forward, and then we can lose 1 or 2 fights, and then we can have them use all their ultimates, and then we can fight at the very last to contest with our ults and them their ults all depleted. However, yes, the idea was good, but I think Philippines did a good job of managing the payload so that by the time they won the second team fight, the payload was in a position to already cap. So good thinking on Chinese Taipei, but also good execution on the side of Philippines.
Yeah, but again, starting with that Hanzo kill onto Snow, there was no Mei to start off for Chinese Taipei. It was a 5v4. And still, Philippines, they knew that they had no time. They had to go for that second point, so pushed all the Qs, all the ultimates. As long as you got what you wanted, I think that's okay. Better now to use it than waste later. Chinese Taipei still.
Okay, Chinese Taipei with 30 seconds left on, they will be looking for their opportunity to wipe the team, because a team wipe at this stage of the game means that it's going to be at least a desperation touch, or even not even a touch opportunity for the side of Philippines. They have 2 ultimates. If any time's the time to use the ultimates, this is going to be now.
Less than 10 seconds.
But Philippines, they're dropping 1 by 1. Can they even touch?
Oh, the respawn's pretty far, and I think the final member down has been gone for a while, so that's first round complete with 2 points.
I think the Philippines will be, I don't think they will be ecstatic for that push, but I think they'll still feel pretty good about that because they went pretty far. They capped 2 full points, and they were about halfway up to point C. So, and Shambali is, if defended correctly, can be a very tricky map, like to penetrate the defenses. So I think they'll be happy. The Pharah did get a lot of value from Walked. Walked was very, very, very impressive on the Pharah. In general, with the Mercy as well. Chinese Taipei, they had the right ideas. They were a little bit lacking on the execution. So we'll see how Chinese Taipei's attack goes, because they still have a chance to win this map. If they full push, if they full cap until point C, then they win. So
yeah, if they go exactly the same, of course, after the second point. But first half, the Philippines actually looked really well coordinated. The DPS, they were picking up kills because they were totally separated, and one's in the air, one's in the ground. Hanzo usually just runs away from any type of those isolation. And Pugbutt, who we have been criticizing a lot through the first week, has been sustaining so well on that Ramatra. I think that was actually one of the key points. Chinese Taipei, they were focusing on him so many times, but he was not brought down in time, giving a lot of potential and the synergy for those in the air to actually grab the kill.
Exactly, so a lot of individual improvement for the side of Pugbutt. I mean, I just can't praise him enough, because like we said, G-Clef, we've been pointing out Pugbutt as one of the weak links of Team Philippines. However, he was very solid and did his duty as tank. And if you look at the Philippines right now, they are going with the Ram. I wouldn't want to call this rush, and it's just a Ram composition with the Pharah and the Hanzo. They didn't go for a spawn camp, so it looks like they wanted to defend here at this corner.
Yeah, that was close. Shout out to Tomato. And pushes happening. Okay, no real kills, but Redux has to be careful peeking through those windows. A lot of targets.
Also, interesting choice of composition by Chinese Taipei. They are opting to go with the Echo, which is generally known as a good pick against the Pharah. But however, Chinese Taipei does not have that Mercy. And Philippines has the Mercy sustain for pocketing Farah, so it'll be a little bit of a difficult task to take out Farah just with the Echo.
Of course, Echo can do a lot of work, but as you mentioned, without the Mercy, not as much, as we all know it. Here's Chun-Li ready with that Nano. Might need to use it on that Ramatra if there's a challenge.
Okay, Chinese Taipei with the duplicate, however, sleep denies most of the time here, so good sleep by Chun-Li. Chun-Li gets taken out though.
But after the Nano, they're taking the opponent tank. Tomato's gone, so has to worry about the DPS line. Line's still healthy in the air, along with the snow. Pulse bomb misses. So no further kill, but the payload is still being pushed.
Yeah, so right now I think a lot of the Chinese Taipei's... Oh, nice shot!
What a flick shot there! Redox's Hanzo has been getting a lot of those kills on the Tracer, which is one of the harder targets.
Yeah, a lot of the... So Hanzo's... Because it's a projectile and it's not like necessarily like the fastest projectile in the world, it's very hard to register those headshots on
Come on, it's an arrow
targets.
against guns and those future technical weapons. and Hanzo, if you can land the right shot, you can actually do well. There's that strike.
Okay, Walk taking out Light, and then also the Barrage taking out Snow. It was very far away, so I didn't think that it would be a lot of value there. But however, Philippines do their job very, very professionally. And okay, Chinese Taipei has a little bit more than 1 minute to cap point A.
Wow, Philippines here. As at that corner, if you have the Dragon Strike near that payload and a barrage from the other side, come on, unless you're in the building, you can't really escape from that damage. Okay, pretty good teamwork from Philippines so far. Chinese Taipei, they need to get further, but less than a minute.
So this is probably going to be their best opportunity because they have the ultimates, they have the Rampage, they have the sound barrier. They, of course, they don't want to use...
Oh, wow, that's big. Will they be pushed, the Philippines?
Yes.
What?
But the entirety of the DPS lineup from Chinese Taipei got wiped out. And I think Tomato's Rampage only hit Puckbutt.
About to cap this, 15 seconds.
They even touch? I think Snow is there, so maybe Snow is there to touch. However,
yeah, the Rampage got no value because not many on the ground. 2 seconds out very early on from Mangli.
Pulse Bomb goes wide and Puckbutt Redux falls.
Okay, 2 kills.
So this is a good start for Chinese Taipei. It looks like they will be able to cap point A unless there are some individual heroics here.
Okay, that's a team wipe now. Finally. With 0 seconds, Chinese Taipei, they will get the first, they will get to that first point. And that was close though.
Yeah, probably sighs of relief from the side of Chinese Taipei. The Rampage from Tomato didn't... Well, yes, it did hit Puckbutt, and in the end, Puckbutt fell because of that, but it wasn't of immense value. And then after that, Philippines had good target acquisition and focus on the DPS lineup of Chinese Taipei. So Chinese Taipei lacked the firepower, but good touch and good bounce back from Chinese Taipei.
And Philippines, they still have some ults. So early Nano on the Puckbutt, but the focus is on Redux. Almost going down, still survives. Chinese Taipei, here comes Lighthouse.
And taking down Chun-Li and Redux. And walked.
Going full insane mode, and that Echo, well, Hanzo of Light actually grabbing 3 kills and throwing out the free Dragon Strike on his own. Now this payload is on the highway, about to, this uphill was supposed to be one of the harder points.
I don't think
that's basically
Philippines can touch. Okay,
yeah.
They are going to concede point B. Philippines do have some ults to work with, remarkably the Annihilation from Puckbutt, and Chinese Taipei doesn't have a lot of defensive measures. However, Chinese Taipei also has offensive measures of their own. For example, they can pop the Kitsune Rush and the Rampage first And Philippines don't have any defensive measures either, so it's going to be a fight of whoever gets that angle for aggression first and pushes that trigger. Because
There's a rampage. Hitting both.
and
Azuana
look
down.
at the payload. G11 is very, very close to completion.
Chinese Taipei did everyone up. And Philippines. Okay, walked. It's a queen, but can't really do much. She's alone. Okay, tries to bring back Pogba. Okay, they're actually contesting this. They came back really early. Slows down. Light still in the air, trying to find some more damage on the Pogba. That's a tank takedown for Philippines. Can they survive? No, Tomato takes down Mercy. And this might be it.
This looks
Chinese
like it
Taipei.
is going to be it. 2 meters left, and that is it. And Chinese Taipei keep their hopes alive for qualification. 2-0 win for Chinese Taipei.
2-0 win, but it was a closer win than we thought. Philippines really gave them a big challenge on both the control Nepal and also Shambali here. Of course, it's a 2-0 on paper. What we're going to be writing down as a result, but Philippines. I think they actually had one of the best match in the qualifier so far.
Exactly. Yes, Chinese Taipei, they got what they wanted. They got the 2-0 win. They got the +2 map differentials and the win that they desperately need for the qualification of this group. However, Philippines, I've been mentioning this time and over again, they have been improving a lot. Yes, they did fall. They managed to take their first round because I think this is their first round win of Philippines in the entire tournament, and I think they can be proud of themselves because a lot of the issues that we've been addressing as their problems are at least I wouldn't say solved, but at least we can see that they're being worked on, and we've seen a lot of progress. For example, their ult usage, their ult discipline has gone a lot nearer than the disorganized chaos that we've been seeing in the week 1. Also, target acquisition, target focus, which is, I can't stress enough in professional level gameplay, because yes, you may be mechanically good, you may be winning these 1v1s, however, if you want to win as a team, you need to focus on what kind of targets are your priority. You need to have an entire checklist of what, hey, we're playing this comp, they're playing that comp. If this comp wants to win against that comp, you have to do this. There are a checklist of things that you need to do if you want to win, and it looks like Philippines has a hold of what that checklist looks like, and they're working towards checking them out.
Yeah, exactly. If you get that many compliments from Unknown, you're certainly on the right track. And that's how far as I know, because I don't get compliments from this guy. Not much. As I was also very impressed. This seemed to be the comp that works really well for Philippines with this roster. And on the map, it actually worked really well. Oftentimes, it seemed like Chinese Taipei, they had better moments. There were lots of great defensive moments, but one headshot from Hanzo, one barrage from that Fair Mercy, and then Philippines, they kept on pushing, almost got to the third point. It was not really close, and the second half, it was close. There were moments where Chinese Taipei, they could have been stopped. They actually had no time for that first point.
Yeah, they might have... if one fight went wrong for the side of Chinese Taipei, they would have been full held, and we might have gone to a map 3, but who knows. But again, even through those difficult circumstances, Chinese Taipei did keep their composure, kept their cool, and they also did a lot better than week 1. Well, week 1 is a little bit unfair to them, was a little bit too harsh for them because their first 2 opponents were Korea and Japan.
Yeah,
but
that's right.
Still, Chinese Taipei, they are looking like why they are still alive in that contention for qualifying, and they look pretty good.
Still, there are chances for Chinese Taipei with that 2-0 victory for tomorrow. I think that's going to be the big match against Hong Kong, which that we have to talk about because the third match we have for tonight is going to be Japan versus Hong Kong. When we come back, we'll have that match. And welcome back, everyone, to Overwatch World Cup Qualifiers. APAC Group A with G-Clef and Unknown here, as we are going into the final match of the night. Is going to be Japan versus Hong Kong, the hype match of the day. What do you think is going to happen? And what's your prediction? Who's going to win on this one?
Well, Japan versus Hong Kong. Well, if I jump straight into the predictions, I do think that Japan will be the favorites to come into this one. I just have to give Japan the credit they deserve because currently they are undefeated so far and undefeated for a reason.
3-0?
They have been doing very well, not just they have been doing all their compositions very well. They have their execution, not only just their comp selection, but also their execution has been very on point. We have been seeing them being very good as Team Viral, which the entire Team Japan is consisted of. They have been doing very well in contenders, APAC, spring and summer. And, well, yes, Hong Kong is they are a team that has the talent there, and they are getting better as the weeks come by. However, I think Japan's experience and cohesion as a team that have been staying together for almost a full year now, I think will be the difference maker here. I do have to emphasize that this match is going to be very, very important for the side of Hong Kong, though, because Japan already clinched their qualification status for the group stages. However, because Chinese Taipei won the previous match just before, the pressure is now onto Hong Kong, because if they lose, it's going to be a very, very difficult situation for Hong Kong now.
Yeah, because Chinese Taipei, they basically got 2-2 now, which brings up Hong Kong with 2-1. After losing this match against Japan, that will tie up things. Of course, we have to talk about the map differential, but that's, again, a 2-2. And they have a match against each other.
Yes,
on the last
that's
day.
going to be the decider. So, in theory, if Hong Kong loses to Japan, Hong Kong will be forced into a situation where they have to absolutely win against Chinese Taipei. Yes, I mean, if you want to like put it that way, like, hey, then Hong Kong maybe is a stronger team than Chinese Taipei. Why don't they win? Anything can happen on that day. And looking at the momentum Chinese Taipei is building so far, I think Chinese Taipei is going to be a very, very scary opposition in the eyes of Hong Kong. They definitely want to win today and come into tomorrow very, very comfortably.
Yeah, for sure, as they would love to, we're talking Hong Kong here, as they would love to bring down Japan to have a better chance of actually playing, having an easier time playing against Chinese Taipei tomorrow. But even before that, of course, they have to fight right now. And it's going to be one hard match for Hong Kong, because Japan, it seems like for Japan, actually, as it goes through the tournament, they're actually fighting stronger teams, one after another. Now they have to fight Hong Kong today, and the day after, on the last day, Japan. With this roster, they have to play South Korea. So they have to show everything here. If not, maybe I don't think there's room to really keep anything in their sleeves.
No, they don't. And if you look at this roster has been playing for Team Japan for the entirety of the qualifiers so far. Miko Kuki at the DPS role, KSG at the tank, Mint and Cloud at the support role. So Mihawk and Plankton has not featured yet for Japan. Maybe today is going to be their chance to feature later on today. And Hong Kong, we have Shalian Kurumi at the DPS role, R3K on the tank, Mango Giant and Am Crazy. So this is what we've been expecting for Hong Kong. Yes, they have been showing different iterations of this roster. However, this is, in my opinion, the strongest roster that Hong Kong can field, and they're here for the win.
They have to grab the win, as we do have Kurumi on the Widow. Has not been showing much Widow, but do have to pinpoint, as remember last week, as they did lose against South Korea 2-0. That was last Sunday. Japan and Hong Kong did not play yesterday, so it seems like forever that they actually played on stage. But there were a lot of moments where, even before R3K was focused, where Kurumi was brought down before the team fight, was sniped by Hanzo, and Hong Kong just did not match in numbers before they actually had a clash of the team fight, and that just cannot happen against a team like Japan today.
Exactly. So Hong Kong was displaying similar weaknesses to some of the other struggling teams in this group. They were a little bit too eager. They were getting picked out one by one even as they were regrouping, and so that kind of delayed them even further. So even in a situation where they had the ult advantage, they gave the opposition enough time for them to follow up on the ult charges, and then after that it's going to be a totally neutral fight with the ults, with the same amount of ultimates. And with the power against a team with a power level like Japan and or Korea, then that's going to be an uphill fight for you. So you want to have as much advantage as you absolutely want. And our first round is going to be Lighthouse. Okay, so this kind of opens up possibilities for flyers. Like Kuki is hovering and retracting right now. However, Echo, we've seen a lot of Echo here on this map. We've seen also a little bit of Diva and the Ashe, which I think neither of the team are going to go for, surprisingly.
Yeah, no Ana from the back line either, so it seems like that the team actually wants to be grabbing that the top floor near the control point. They actually want to, of course, after the skirmish here.
Yeah, so none of the teams, like you mentioned, G-Clef, they're not putting much priority on the high ground control like some of the other teams were playing on Lighthouse. However, both teams are putting 100% priority on this ground fight, and positional advantage to Japan here. With that, I think they outmaneuvered Hong Kong a little bit.
Great wall there. Trapping the
wall
queen.
to isolate R3K, and this is going to be numbers advantage for Japan. Hong Kong has to reset.
Yeah, even before the wall, I mean, that Jungle Queen was pretty much 0 HP. That neutral fight plus the rotation, slightly faster for Japan. And Hong Kong now switching everything. Mangjai on the best hero on Ana. Charlian going on Pharah, which I don't think we've seen too many.
Well, I mean, Pharah is in theory very similar to Echo in this map specifically on Lighthouse.
Of course.
But it leaves a lot to be desired right now, because I've been talking about flyers all day today, and the main point about flyers is, number one, you have to either do enough damage or harassment enough that your ground forces, even with that numbers disadvantages, can do a lot of work, or your team already has control of the point, of which they don't. However, Shaolan is having an early barrage here, so maybe this is something that Hong Kong can work with.
Yeah, with 4 lessons out already, Hong Kong, they have position. Here is Shaolan from the side. Barrage, perfect timing.
There you go! Although Shaolan was taken down by mid there.
2 for 1 still.
2 members taken out by Shaolan.
Oh, even Sound Barrier to keep the 3 members alive for Japan. They want to keep the point and fight this 3v4, which is possible with that annihilation available now. Pops that immediately. Nico brought down to only 2 members.
Okay, this fight is getting very extended here, so Hong Kong absolutely has to win, which they do have.
Japan,
However,
they thought they could actually win that 3v4.
Well, I mean,
a lot invested in that fight too.
Maybe it was worth it in a sense that they were going to swap compositions anyway, because they figured out that Hong Kong was going with the Flyers, and as you can see, KSG is going with the Diva and then the double flankers, so maybe they think that KSG's Diva and Cloud's Ana is going to be enough to suppress the aerial presence of Hong Kong. So, I mean, if they were going to change compositions anyway, so I understand this the ult usage from the last fight, and they already have 82% on the board, so they do have time for another 1 or 2 bad fights. But of course, they want to win every fight. So
yeah, catches Tracer there with the Nano Doomfish, and Hong Kong, as they know already, okay, they control the air. And also a lot of position. When they go in, it'll be all together or nothing. So I think Doomfist, there's still argument to be made on that comp.
Oh, what a good hack from Kuki! So that denied the glide. So the manual hack,
so close too.
The manual hack denies abilities for the hero for like 1.5 seconds, if I'm not mistaken, and that was enough for Shaolan to drop and just fall there. And if you fall there, you can't even res. So that was very, very clever play from Japan, and Kuki now has the EMP there.
Yeah, with that EMP, they just want to secure as Kurumi is trying to survive. That will be it. Japan taking the first 100-56.
Wow, that's, I mean, I want to give out all the credit to Kuki there. Like, that kill on the Pharah was was very, very important because Farah was 96% on Barrage even after that death. So if Farah didn't die over there, it didn't fall over there, then the Barrage would have been available and Hong Kong wouldn't have to reset. I think that made a lot of differences there. So maybe Japan could have won even with the Hong Kong using Barrage, but you never know because Barrage is such a powerful ultimate that may have turned the tides of the fight.
Yes. You had a pretty good point at Japan. I was thinking that they might have used too much, but they already had 82% from the first capture that continued before they actually changed the team comp. So Japan knew that, okay, in the long run, we can gather some more ults and finish this first. That was pretty clean, actually.
Okay, now we're going to Ruins, and we are noticing that usually this is a favorite map for a Widow. However, both teams are not electing to go with the Widow after the nerfs on. Remember, this is on the live patch. So this is where the Widow makers are nerfed. Kuki falls first, but we still have to see a little bit more, but it looks like Hong Kong is taking positional advantage here. Xiaolan also taking down KSG, so this means that Hong Kong will be able to cap first and take control of the point.
Yeah, Xiaolan on that slightly buffed Genji on the live server with more shurikens available.
And Xiaolan is also a player that we've been seeing with great interest in Contenders APAC. We've seen this player do a lot of work on the Genji pick. So this is if you're new to some of these players, maybe you want to take a close attention to Xiaolan's Genji here.
Yeah, certainly one of the best Genji from the Contenders Summer Series APAC. And Japan trying to contest by some more space near the control point.
Okay, manual hacked onto R2K, however, it wasn't enough. There wasn't enough follow-up damage for the side of Japan to make any meaningful kills. The Coalescence used by Cloud, but answering ultimates from the side of Hong Kong, and the kills are being followed up. So more percentage on the side of Hong Kong, and they only use 2 ultimates and 3 are online. So even if Japan uses the Annihilation, Hong Kong has measures to counter. So this is looking pretty promising for Hong Kong.
Yeah, already 55% with the Blade and the Blossom plus the Sound Barrier available. Unless it's Ajax, I think early on. Okay, they're pushing.
So they don't want any Ajax, so they used it early.
Yeah, there's that Blade. Really well handled.
But
plus
Nico!
What? Where did that Reaper come from? It must have dropped from the top.
I wasn't able to see, but this was a very, very crucial victory in the side of Japan because they were at a ultimate deficit, and Hong Kong was investing a lot of the ultimates. You can see that Xiaolan also used his Dragon Blade, and now it is only the Reaper ult. And
no way! I thought it was actually Krumi grabbing the kill along with the Blade, but it was the opposite. Nico turning the tide, getting ready for the EMP. Yuki so close to it.
Kuki with the EMP and no defensive measures on the side of Hong Kong to counter. So yes, Kurumi does use the Death Blossom to take out Nico, but can they get more?
Pushing at the team, and that's more than enough damage with the tank down. Oh man, they're on a chase. Mid trapped onto the corner. Too loud. Yeah, build support. They tried to sustain themselves, but with no other measures. Hong Kong moving the point. Okay, just harassing just for a second more from Kuki.
Okay, both teams are kind of losing in situations that they should be winning. For example, in Hong Kong, in the turn before that, they should have been winning on that fight. And Japan won with the heroics of Nico. However, now this turn, the most recent fight, it looked like Japan was going to win that fight because Hong Kong didn't have any ultimates whatsoever.
95.
However, Hong Kong managed to make that win, and coalescence from both sides. Kurumi dropping first means that Hong Kong is at a disadvantage. However, it is 99% and overtime running for the side of Hong Kong.
Yeah, Hong Kong can still actually back up a little bit and not lose too many members unless... Well, that was going to be close on Mango Jai. Almost dropped right there. And still, Japan gathering a lot of ult charged up.
Crazy, that is an ambitious sound barrier. And Rampage gets there. And KSG with the Annihilation doing a lot of damage.
There's a Blade for Xiaolan. And 1.
Xiaolan has
2.
to make this count.
It's already flipped over to Japan. They're gathering percentages. Xiaolan's gone, but
however,
here's Nico.
Hong Kong is investing a lot of ultimates, so they needed to win this fight. But no!
Yeah, I think Hong Kong wanted to actually finish the game right there, right? With that much resources spent.
So a little bit of questionable ult discipline for the side of Hong Kong. I think that because KSG used his Annihilation, they could just disengage, maybe give up 1 or 2 members of the team, and look for the next fight with the ult advantage. However, they thought it was going to be worth it to invest the ultimates. However, they failed, and now they're at a ultimate disadvantage. Cloud not getting a lot of value, and Nico not getting a lot of value from the ultimate as well. However, Mid takes down Kurumi, and Cookie and Crazy. Yes, RDK gets Cloud down. Oh, but no!
There's a lot of trading kills for KSG. There's a Blizzard now. QG
no
keeping the point
supports
alive.
on either side. It is overtime, but is there anyone to touch? I don't think there is.
The climbs over, but gets it immediately. And that's going to be the win for Japan here. As that turned out to be, which we thought from the beginning, and says, okay, Hong Kong seems to be grabbing this with Charlene playing pretty well on the Genji, but ever since that Nico's Death Blossom from nowhere, out of nowhere, literally out of nowhere, winning against the Blade and the Sound Barrier, which was almost gone, by the way. And ever since that moment, Japan came back big time, and we have a 2-0.
Yeah, so I think Lighthouse was a little bit more competitive. I think Hong Kong did a lot of good ideas and executed well. I think it was mostly the heroics of Kuki on the Sombra, especially that hack, manual hack onto Farah. I think that was a 300 IQ play, to be honest. But yeah, anything.
There was no other target too.
I think that Kuki hack
right
manual
there.
hack was the play that made Lighthouse in Japan's favor. And to be honest, on Ruins, I think I'm a little bit disappointed on the ult disciplines on both sides because it was a little bit of a fiesta here.
Yeah, at the end, the last team fight, Nico's Blossom it looked desperate and not in a perfect position, saying, okay, I'm just going to pop this and see what happened. And he was actually standing right next to the pillar, which means that you're actually blocking your own damage in a lot of ways.
I think there were a lot of panic buttons on both sides, but Japan was a little bit more organized. But I think both teams are better than what they displayed on Ruin, so maybe like during this map change, they will kind of organize. The coaches will kind of point out, "Hey, this was unnecessary, or this was you needed to press this button here." A little bit more discipline on both, not just the ultimates, but also on the timing of the aggressions here. So. But still, again, both teams are very competitive teams with good players and good coaches, so I expect a better map too.
And we'll see what Hong Kong comes up with on the second map. I'm expecting, I think Hong Kong wants to play a lot more hybrid, especially against Japan, as I think Shanlin's having an okay day. We have seen a few blades, okay, but it wasn't nano blades, so not really getting like 4 or 5 man wipes with a single ultimate, double ultimate. But with just a blade, it was oftentimes at least 2 kills, better trade. So I think it was okay.
But to be honest, I really liked Shaolan's Pharah. So maybe even if he can play Pharah or the Echo, I think maybe like maps on, I don't know, maybe Blizzard World or maybe King's Row if that's available.
Man, this World Cup is all about Pharah, right?
Well, EMEA started it.
Oh, yes. And a lot of regions actually picking up. And by the time when we get to group stage and BlizzCon, I mean, there might be more Pharahs coming. Who knows?
I mean, I guess that's one of the charms of the World Cup, right? So a lot of the teams, yes, there is something called a meta in the Overwatch League, and a lot of teams go with the meta, and it is for usually the competition between teams that go with the meta or a team that just specifically counters that meta. We see a lot of more various things on the World Cup because, number one, most of the times meta comps are very hard, not hard, but it requires a lot more time to refine. But for now in the World Cup, it usually is with the limited time resources they have. It is sometimes more efficient to go with, hey, I'm just going to do what we do best, and that works a lot better than playing the meta awkwardly. So I think this is one of the charms of the World Cup, and I like what I'm seeing.
Yeah, and also we get to see some of the clash between the meta and see who comes on top, because before they actually contest, because now it's within the region, separated by groups for now. On the group stage, depending on how the matchup goes, you might see some other teams actually grabbing the match, and by that point we might be on a different patch even, so we don't exactly know what it's going to be really like in next few months. But okay, this is a map that I do remember seeing yesterday. Not for a long time.
I don't remember.
Not for a long time, but
For 4 minutes and 40 seconds, but yeah.
okay. And here, it's a choice, map chosen by Hong Kong, though. So we'll see what this Circuit Royale will be all about, as Japan. We haven't been seeing too much of escort maps coming out from Japan at all.
Okay, we do see a little bit. I see a little bit of member changes here on the side of Japan.
Oh, that's right.
I see Mihawk and Plankton. I predicted it right. We will be having Mihawk and Plankton on the stage today. So, well, Plankton is the traditional off-tank player on Team Japan and on Team Beryl. So I expect that Sigma not to change, and Mihawk is the traditional hit scan player for Team Japan and Team Beryl. So this kind of makes sense because this is usually the traditional lineup of what you would see on a Circuit Royale defense. And Arthur K is an off-tank in nature, so a Sigma mirror matchup, it just makes sense.
As this is the map for the Widow too. So there's Mihawk.
Okay, the shots did register, but not a kill.
But with the following shots with the hook.
Interesting to see that both teams are running this Sojourn. And Sojourn, with that charged railgun, has one hit potential. So maybe they're looking for that. And also, both teams are running the Zenyatta. So with that Discord work, will be putting a lot of damage onto the enemy Sigma.
You have to have the right team focused. For now, the Hong Kong push into the first corner.
Okay, Kurumi has that charge.
For that Sojourn. And Mihawk has been hitting some shots, but no direct headshots from the air.
And it also hurts a lot of the chances for Mihawk as well because Widowmaker was reserved so much to the point that
you can't be far away. You have to be near the tank.
Beyond 70 meters or 60 meters, I believe, the full charge headshot damage has decreased to 150, which was previously 300. So you can't even hit one shot 200 HP targets. So that's why Widow is not on the high ground right now and just right behind the Sigma, because they want to make that one-shot potential happen.
Yeah, really good kill picked up by Nico there, pushing with that death onto Hanzo. Now Hong Kong has to be forced back a little bit. They actually pushed pretty well without having any type of death into the second corner.
Yeah, so this is basically a stalemate on both sides. I believe maybe there's going to be a sniper kill or a ultimate used in order for a breakthrough to be made. R3K does okay. They have 2 targets.
Got 2,
and so it procs the Transcendence, which is very, very.
Oh, Mia snipe onto Mango Jai. That's going to help in defense a lot.
Okay, now it's Plankton's turn to use their gravitic flux because there is going to be no Transcendence on the side of Hong Kong, but Hong Kong knows this and they back away. So more time for Japan to defend.
Yeah, but Japan still ended up using the Matrix all the way from the back. So Hong Kong, I think they're feeling okay, knowing that Plankton is still holding on to that ultimate. It's up to Mihawk. Got 1.
Well, I mean, Plankton, if his ultimate is used correctly, it will force out Transcendence from Mangujai.
Hanzo, both kills onto DPS.
Oh, they don't even need it because Japan lost so many members. So
yeah, that was just wasted. That was a really good catch by Plankton, but no follow-up whatsoever.
Yeah, I believe that at least 3 members of the side of Hong Kong
were... I think it was 4.
Yeah, I think it was 4 too. So Plankton lifted 4 members of Hong Kong, but Mangujai, good ultimate discipline there not to use the Transcendence there because they didn't need it because they knew that Japan was losing a lot of their DPS members and there was no follow-up damage to cover up the kills.
Yeah, while that's been happening, currently in Hanzo, pretty deadly if he can get a kill onto, well, basically sniper versus sniper versus Mihawk. Oh, Plankton actually getting a kill onto
Kurumi down means that the overclock will be unavailable for the time being. It maybe Hong Kong wants to back away. I think Hong Kong should probably regroup and wait for that gravitic flux to be online, because Cloud doesn't have his Transcendence yet, and I think Hong Kong knows this as well. But no, Plankton with that burst damage from the amplification matrix was a little bit too much, and Plankton is down.
Yeah, really well handled by the focus from Hong Kong as they will continue to push onto the second point almost.
Hong Kong looks very, very scary here. Cloud once again forced the Transcendence out because of the R3K flux.
End the window from all the way back with those two.
Finally, Japan gets some answering kills and stabilize just before Hong Kong taps point B.
Yeah, 2.45 out from reaching the second point. But Hong Kong, they feel okay as they have been pushing well, still less than 2 minutes. Seems like there's a lot of time to push all the way, still holding that Dragon Strike.
However, Hong Kong only has the Dragon Strike, and all the other ultimates are very, very low. While Japan has that overclock to threaten or maybe even grab some kills. So if Nico can make use of that overclock, then it will delay Hong Kong a little bit more.
That was a little too aggressive on his own with after the Dragon Strike. Maybe he wants to switch.
They don't even need that overclock yet, which is all the better for the side of Japan. And I think Nico can use that overclock to buy time for Plankton to charge up that flux.
As Hong Kong, they are finally put on halt for the last minute or so. Nico holding that overclock. Style slides away from on the other side of the map. That is not really your side, but as long as you can distract.
Okay, but
and get back to your own arms, which will be a very hard duty. Oh, as long as you can find kills like that, I guess it's all worth it.
Yeah, so I think it's mission accomplished for Nico right now, even though Nico might fall right after this. So Nico bought time for Plankton to charge up that flux, and all the better, Nico survived and took another kill for it! So, wow, what a harassment from Nico! Heroics from Nico has always been the point of interest for both Team Japan and Team Guerrilla. Nico is showing up when it's very important here. Shaolan taking out Nico, Nico falls eventually, but however, look, Plankton has that flux ready, and Mango Jai does not have that Transcendence, so it's the prime opportunity for Japan.
Yeah, just needs to wait. Nico basically bought the team about 40 seconds right before that. Oh,
10
but the members dropping down like flies.
But does Hong Kong has anyone to touch?
Reach the payload in time?
Can they touch? Oh, they did!
Hanzo for the save, Hanzo for the save. Xiaolin's there. That was real close, Japan. They do have a lot of ults.
They have to be very careful because if the flux,
three-man push.
If the flux puts everyone in the air, they will be away from Plankton. The payload.
There's that window. R3K trying to cash, but not going to be that effective on the other side.
Cloud counters that flux with the Transcendence, and Plankton will be having their flux of their own.
Charlene again, with a lot traded, but they must have been off the point. The payload was not pushed all the way over time, and that is just going to be it. Just a single point.
Wow, Nico with the heroics there. I can't emphasize that enough. Nico was on the backside of Team Hong Kong. And not only did he pick up a few kills, he bought precious time. Because I think that point 8 cap was a little early on the side of Hong Kong, but Nico stalled enough time for not only for the key ultimates to come up on the side of Japan, but also took precious time away from the time bank.
Yeah, I could see Nico playing Soldier like a Tracer in a way.
Yeah.
Notice how he moves around. Of course, Slide, it's a different hero, but you know what I mean. And also on the other side, Charlene thinking that he can escape as a Hanzo, and he's not Genji. And he was caught off guard sometimes. He couldn't climb over the wall or swift strike away from the point, as he was like he doesn't have the reflex, first of all. So some back and forth action between the two DPS, and I really fully enjoyed that.
Yeah, that was a very enjoyable defense on the side of Japan, and I think that almost up to point B, like barely a few meters before point B is definitely a doable push. So maybe if Japan does everything correctly, they will. I do expect them to cap that point. And it starts with the... Okay, I was about to say it starts with a cheeky snipe from Mihawk, but it doesn't happen.
It's expected to happen. The reason why Mihawk is in here. Oh, this is the hook. And there's a lot of utilities from Hong Kong, and no one's actually poking because of that Widow potential.
Yeah, so again, it's the same thing from when Hong Kong attacked. It's going to be a stalemate unless there is a sniper kill or unless a ultimate comes up. So it is. Oh, okay.
Krumi picking up Plankton.
Plankton.
They overstepped a little bit.
Yeah, Plankton taken down relatively quickly. So this means Japan has to back all the way back, but respawn is going to be very close. So it's not going to be too damaging.
There's a shot from Mihawk. It's starting.
Yeah, so Kurumi taken down is actually bigger than Japan losing Plankton early on. Plankton will be back, but it is going to take time for Kurumi to come back. If Japan can make an extra kill here, that will be their breakthrough for this corner here.
APAC-A getting some support from the back, but the payloads, it's keep pushing towards the second corner as Hong Kong, they are getting some ults charged up. There's that
good damage done to R3K.
There you go. Window up for Hong Kong in the field to keep them alive.
R3K has that Gravitic Flux, and Cloud doesn't have the Transcendence yet. However, Nico pops the overclock and takes 2!
Even more, Mihawk continues the double DPS from Japan, continues to deliver. There's Xiaolian with 2 kills though.
Yes, Cloud and Mihawk is taken down though, but who cares? Because the rest of Japan is there to clean house, and Japan caps point A.
You can only do so much as Hanzo alone. Maybe you can go for 5 straight headshots, but sometimes even against tanks, that's not enough. Japan will continue to push this one a little further, and the good news for Japan is that they didn't even have to use that much.
Yeah, so they have the Flux, they have the Infrastrate, they have the Transcendence. On Hong Kong side, they have the Transcendence to counter the Flux. However, so for the homework for Japan, the objective for Japan is going to be baiting out the Transcendence, or even better, taking out that Zenyatta before Plankton can use the Flux. And that is okay. So they just decide to trade the Flux with the Transcendence, which is, I think, Japan has an okay trade. It's not bad because they know that R3K's Flux is far from charging, and Cloud has that Transcendence, which can provide the necessary
and more time you have. They were supposed to be relying on Plankton surviving, and also it's actually Xiaolian taking down both. I thought it was going to be the Widow, though, that creates the difference between the two teams. But Xiaolian's Genji showing some other level of snipes here, as we're having a lot of snipers.
Okay, so this makes a lot of difference. This is more important than just a few kills, because Xiaolian, it was like Nico from the other side when Hong Kong was attacking, because when just as Nico bought time for Plankton and others to get their ultimates, Xiaolian bought time for R3K to charge that Flux. So now Cloud, which was seen as a Transcendence advantage, now has to keep his Transcendence to counter that Flux.
Yeah, on the other side, Plankton, Mangojai, their numbers are about the same. So let's see who charges up first. Stuns from Sigma. Okay, trade with the, as you called it, it's another trade.
So it is going to
another
be
snipe from Xiaolian. And it continues.
Xiaolian proving that Genji is not just the only hero that he is proficient at. He is actually proficient at both Shimada brothers. And although Japan has little more than 2 minutes on the time bank, they are slowly getting a little bit panicky here. But Mihawk stabilizes things with that snipe on Crazy.
Oh, man.
And might be that window of opportunity for the side of Japan.
That's exactly what Japan has been looking for with the roster coming into circuit. But Nico responds again, and 1-1 gone without the Hanzo. Hong Kong might not have enough damage to break through those shields.
It is Nico will be having that overclock, and there is not much defensive measures on the side of Hong Kong. Maybe Mangojai with that Transcendence. However, it is only going to save himself because a headshot from an overclock will be a guaranteed kill. Mangujai with that transcendence, but however, Plankton is there. No!
Oh, that was really close towards the end, but that is just going to be it, Japan.
The Flux denied the touch from Hong Kong. So,
And no one else could come in at that moment.
yes, Mangujai did use the transcendence to provide a little bit of sustain there. However, it still cannot prevent their teammates from going up in the air. And at that split moment where there were only 2.5 meters to be pushed, there weren't anyone to touch the point.
Yeah, because they were trapped in the room, because the moment you step out, either you're going to be in the air from Sigma or you will be sniped from that Widow. So oftentimes, though, especially the back line and the tank from Hong Kong was forced to be inside on this on that second point B. And that's exactly where Japan striked. And they will be grabbing a big win. Actually, 4 straight 2-0s for the APAC qualifier so far.
Yeah, I mean, Japan already clinched qualification, but like getting more winning experience is always a good thing, and they can also try things out. They can also kind of figure out what isn't optimal at the current state. I mean, Japan won today, but they did have a few issues that were a little bit concerning today. They definitely looked a little bit shakier than the earlier versions of Team Japan, where they were so dominant. But overall, Japan did a very good job. They did manage to secure the win, which is the most important part. It is getting interesting for Hong Kong because both Hong Kong and Chinese Taipei are 2-2. So this means that our first match of tomorrow will be the decider of who qualifies third.
Yes, because we will get to see that updated standings, but for sure, if my math is correct, Japan, Korea, they're guaranteed with 4 wins, and the match tomorrow will basically determine the first, second place between the 2 teams. So it's now really about that third place who's actually going to be advancing along with those 2 teams. The results today, lots of 2-0s, but that match 1. Okay, let's skip to match 2. That match 1 was hectic and one of the hardest matches so far in the qualifiers.
Look at the standings right now. This is so close.
The middle ground. The middle ground. Look at that 2-2-0. And the 8-8, the +8 and the -8.
So even the map differentials are the same. And if you even go even on map differentials, you have to go on the head-to-head, which will be that first match of the third day. So it is going to be the most important match. Yes, Korea-Japan is going to be a banger. However, in terms of how this tournament is going to go, that match is going to be the most important match of all the qualifiers in Group A here.
Tomorrow, the match is to decide the first place, second place, and the third place. You're going to be having some treats. Of course,
it is.
We passed the half mark of the year.
These teams are going to fight tooth and nail for this.
Yeah, they better have everything ready, gathered up, and we're going to be starting with that important, crucial match for Hong Kong. Is it going to be Hong Kong? Is it going to be Chinese Taipei? We'll find that out on the first match of tomorrow. The second match following up, Philippines, Indonesia. That will be for Pride, of course. And
one of these teams will be having their first win of the tournament.
That's guaranteed. And also, one of the teams, either Japan or South Korea, they will be having their first loss.
Of course. And that is, I mean, all 3 matches tomorrow are going to be really hype. Not just because of qualification, but also just for honor and the fun of it, right? So, and also something really hype is that South Korea is actually playing on land in front of their fans.
Oh, yes. They're actually coming down inland on land to actually be in front of the fans to play against Japan. Of course, Japan will be playing online, but it might be some more pressure, but still to be having being on big stage. And we read the papers. We know the experiences that especially Team South Korea has on that big stage, one of the bigger stages that we just had not too long ago. And I'm sure that won't be much of a pressure for South Korea, but that's surely going to be one of the biggest game. And the reason also I guess it's another reason why it's one of the last game of the tournament.
I mean, I don't think the scheduling might have had that in mind. Maybe. I'm not 100% sure. I can't guarantee that. But, I mean, I mean, in the end, as the result, we're going to have a banger of a.
Yeah, it just works out to be the best
I don't know
day.
who scripted this, but whoever scripted this needs a raise. But anyways, yes, all 3 matches are going to be very important matches for all the teams because one match is going to be for the survival of the next stage of the tournament, and the second match is going to be who is going to get their first, who is going to exit with a win in the bag, and third is going to be who is going to be the best team of the group, which is also, I am going to make a spoiler out of this. We have some content ready for tomorrow.
Oh, I'm ready.
Yeah, I'm not going to spoil a little bit details
totally
because
ready.
I'm still working on that.
I don't know what that is. I don't know what that is, but I hope I'm ready for it. I'm always ready for
So
more
we
content.
have some content ready. We have LAN ready. We'll definitely be able to see our Team Korea play on.
Are you hosting again?
No, I'm here to cast. But we will be having our Team Korea players play on the WDG Esports Studio where Overwatch League matches and the East have been taking place. So this is also going to be a very fun experience for not just the players, but also fans are going to be there as well. So it's also going to be a new viewing experience for even those people who are going to watch online. You will be hearing those cheers. Another hit. Whoever Hoiting, it's probably going to be Korea Hoiting, but whatever.
Japan Hoiting, Korea Hoiting, yes. They will be having one or both sides.
And we'll be having cheer signs. It's going to be very hype. I can't wait for tomorrow.
Yeah, it's going to be one of the best days so far in APAC Group A, for sure. It has to be the last day where we decide all the top 3. So, and you guys better be there because you can't miss it. It's the most important day of all for our APAC Group A for Overwatch World Cup qualifiers. But for today, that's gonna be it. Lots of 2-0 still, but we're getting ready for that preparation for the very last day. Make sure to stay tuned for more APAC Group A. But for today, that's going to be doing it. Unknown here. G-Clip. See you guys tomorrow for the final day of action.